Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest edition of Varsity Aces Live. I'm your host, RecordNorthJersey.com sports columnist Darren Cooper. And tonight, we're going to talk about the Last Dance baseball tournament with a couple of special guests. And then later on, my colleague Greg Mattura is going to join me, talk about the opening of Phase 1 for high school sports as practice begins. Thank you. That's my birthday boy, my birthday boy. Coley, you need to step aside. He will turn 10 tomorrow. Thank you, Cole. Nice to see you. Live programming, ladies and gentlemen. What can I tell you? Let's bring on my first two guests. They are Don Bosco baseball coach Mike Rooney and Cliffside Park coach Joe Frank. Good night.
Hi, Darren. How are you?
Joe, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. And Mike, how are you today?
Hanging in there, Darren. Just trying to stay busy, trying to get out of the house as much as I can.
Mike, I want to start with you, though. You had some special guests at Bosco the other day. Did you not? A couple of big, tall, strapping men in pinstripes? How did that come about? What, are you best friends with Aaron Judge?
You know, we did. They weren't wearing pinstripes, but it was easily recognizable when Aaron Judge walks on campus. No, I wish I could say we were close friends or something like that, but I don't want to stretch the truth. Pretty random. I received a phone call about a month ago from Dylan Betances, and Dylan and myself have a couple of mutual friends, but I certainly was surprised when he was on the other end of the phone. So Dylan and a couple of other players came to Don Bosco to work out. Rick Porcello, Joe Panic, Jairus Familia. And they came, Todd Frazier as well, and had a good workout. And then I guess 10, 12 days later, I got a phone call that Aaron Hicks and some of the Yankees wanted to come hit live off of Betances and also take some BP, run around, take some fly balls. So obviously I reached out to the president of the school, Bob Fazio, and Bob thought it was a great idea. You know, anytime you can have those guys on your campus, and obviously in this case, help them out a little bit. We're both right. Yankee fans and Met fans, so we're rooting for both groups. And long story short, you know, Monday afternoon, those guys were on campus. CC Sabathia was there, and it was a lot of fun. It really was. Mike Ford, who is a local guy, Jersey guy, he stepped up to the plate during BP and hit a couple of balls into the Shannon Rose parking lot, which is, if you don't know our field, which is almost hard to believe. And thankfully, I was there and I can attest to it. And
does the ball really sound different coming off the bat, Mike, of a big league hitter?
It does, but I'll tell you what, even if you could not hear it, all you got to do is see it go about 150 feet further than any ball you've ever seen hit at the high school level, and you know it's different. So it does sound different, but to be honest with you, when the ball's hitting the top of the trees in left center field, that's the thing that overwhelms you. So when Mike Ford hit, Aaron Hicks jumped in, he hit. It was just really, really impressive. And I got to actually do the bucket with CC Sabathia. So I was out behind second base when Judge stepped up, and he hit some baseballs that were just hard to believe. The distance and the velocity of the ball off the bat was even different than other major leaguers who were there hitting as well. So as much as I would love to talk about their talent, what I'll say about every major leaguer who stepped on the field on those 2 days, they were as kind and humble and approachable as anyone I've ever met in my life. So it was just a great thing to see their talent, but it was also a great thing to see their humility and realize how much they want to get back on the field and how much they're missing the game.
Well, all right. Speaking of that, we are going to get back on the field next week in New Jersey with the Last Dance tournament, an event I think that kind of started small and then exploded into this enormous statewide event. And that leads me over to you now, Joe. How did you become involved in the Last Dance tournament, and what's your role going to be?
Well, I'll be coaching the Cliffside Park team. Ben Luter was a great friend of mine, and I'm just happy to help out. They were looking for a coach, and they asked me to help out the squad.
For those of you who don't know, Ben was a star baseball player at Don Bosco Prep and Marist, and he tragically passed away a couple of months ago from COVID-19. And if I remember right, Joe, you have some good Ben stories. You played for him. Did he coach you?
Yeah, Ben actually coached me when I was 17 and 18 years old. And I actually worked for Ben with his aviators team over the summer throughout college.
And so what?
So it was really cool hearing a lot of good Ben stories. He played with Mike Trout. Trying to think what else. He knew Jack Cuss.
Right.
Jack Cuss actually gave him a Marucci bat once, he told me, and he hit a home run in Diamond Nation. I mean, Ben was just a stud. I mean, he could still play even today if he tried. I mean, Ben was really good at everything. So, yeah, Ben was something special.
And now listen, I did not do this on purpose, but the very first game at Don Bosco for the Last Dance tournament will be between that guy over there's team and that guy over there's team. And Mike, I think we got something special planned for Ben. We're going to have a ceremony or something to honor Ben.
We do. I reached out, obviously, to some of the people that were in the program in 2008. Greg Butler has been a great help. Tim O'Sullivan has been a big help from the 2018. Matt Murata has been a big help. So we're planning on a ceremony with Mr. and Mrs. Luderer and Brandy as well. They'll be attending, and we're going to honor Ben. We're going to make an announcement that next season we're going to retire Ben's number 16. We're also going to have a plaque on campus for Ben. Father Jim Huser will be there to lead us in a moment of silence. And it's really just a way in which we can, as a community, and I mean Cliffside Park and Don Bosco, come together and share some stories, but also let it be known what a loss it is. I've had the opportunity to get to know Ben a little bit since 2017. And ironically, maybe that's a poor choice of words, but the day that Ben passed, we were supposed to scrimmage Cliffside Park and Don Bosco. I had spoken to Ben a week earlier about it, just firming up the time, the start of the scrimmage. So needless to say, it was a complete shock for so many people. So the grieving process has obviously been significantly changed because of COVID-19, and our thoughts was to get together and to just pay respects in this manner as two programs.
Joe, I mean, I got to ask, how much do the guys you're coaching now still talk about Ben, and how much do they see him as motivation in this tournament and, honor his memory going forward?
Definitely. I mean, the guys are really motivated with Ben's passing to really do well and just rep the Ben Luderer name well.
So let me ask you this too, Joe. How high quality of baseball do you think we'll see the next 3 weeks or so? What do you see? How do you see this playing out?
I think you're going to see great baseball, personally. I think a lot of guys will be motivated to get back on the field, especially not being able to play for the last 4 to 5 months. And I think they're going to really bring it. So I think we're going to see a good quality ball.
Mike, now the rules are different for you, Mike. You're not able to watch your guys go day to day anymore. But how many guys are you going to have on the Bosco team, and what kind of quality of play you think you'll see?
Right. Well, one of the things when we were discussing the tournament early on that a lot of the coaches pushed for, and Mike Murray was very receptive to it, is we wanted to be able to have a large roster. We wanted to be able to have players get time on the field as opposed to just being on a roster. We wanted our players to get at bats, to get innings pitched and things like that. Our roster will probably be somewhere 30 to 35. We will revolve the roster a little bit. Day 1, day 2, take off a pitcher, take off maybe a player that perhaps wasn't going to play the second game, so we can adjust the roster a little bit. As far as the quality of baseball, the kids have been working out. I think my biggest concern goes to the pitching side of things. You always want to make sure that the pitchers have been getting the work in, because you don't want to obviously have somebody out there throwing in a game and blow themselves out. That's a big fear for all of us. I think the quality is going to be very good. I think you're going to see from Don Bosco multiple pitchers. We're trying to keep the kids at about 2-3 innings. They've been working up to those inning limits, and I feel confident that our players are ready to play. So I'm looking forward to it.
And Joe, for you guys, like, right, same kind of thought. Like, man, we can't wait to just get on the field and get some live, get some live swings and see what happens.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been practicing also. We've done a couple inter squads, and the guys look great. So we'll see how it goes.
How many guys do you think you'll have, Joe? What are you looking at?
We're gonna have 10 to 11 guys on the roster. We have 2 guys currently to injury, so we'll go from there.
And gee, I don't know who drew. You're stepping right into the fire here, right? Playing against a pretty good program like Bosco, right, Joe?
Yes.
So just come out swinging and take your chances.
Yeah, we gotta see what we do. We gotta take just every pitch, one pitch at a time.
Have either of you guys like looked at the tournament format and like how it's supposed to work with like kind of like crossover? But it's not really 14 pods at first, right? These are almost like sub-regionals and then they become regions. Mm-hmm. Anybody want to explain it? Because I read it over and I didn't quite 100% get it. And if you don't get it either, it's totally fine. But the way I saw it was essentially you're guaranteed 2 games to begin with. You're guaranteed 2 games to begin with. And then you move on to the next into the regionals.
Right. I think you're going to see many teams playing 3 games. But Darren, to be totally honest with you, when I looked at it, the 4 or 5 pages, I immediately realized I was in over my head. So I've asked my wife to sort it out for me. So she should be getting back to me sometime tonight with what I have to do next week.
All right. Is the tournament too big? Is it too big or is it really, a response to COVID-19 and what everybody's been through? We got this chance now. Hopefully we get some good weather. How do we kind of balance the competition aspect with wanting just to get the kids some activity and some experience?
I think it's cool having that many teams in it. I mean, it's kind of like glorified March Madness if you think about it. I mean, I think it's awesome to have that many teams to play for, ultimately have one winner.
And hey, all the ballparks are empty right now, right, Mike? All the ballparks, I mean, they're empty. We might as well go use them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like you're throwing a party and there's no way to keep anyone out the door. It's too good of a thing not to want to be a part of. And I think that's really what you're seeing. There is no way you're going to exclude anybody. And everyone's just waiting to get on the field again. So the demand is certainly there. I'm looking forward to it. The more the merrier, basically.
Mike, how hard was it not to have a season and not to be around your guys on a day-to-day basis starting March? How difficult was that to swallow?
It was tough. It was tough. The time that we were actually kind of pulled off the field, going back, I guess it's now March 13th. It was one of those things where you felt like you were going to take a week off and then the dust would settle a little bit and you'd probably figure out how to adjust your schedule or something along those lines. And then a week later, you started to think that, all right, this is definitely going to impact the season. And then I think 2 weeks in, I'm watching the governors for New York and New Jersey every morning, and I'm thinking to myself that it's pretty inevitable that we're not going to have a season. And then you're trying to come to terms with talking to your players and especially the seniors, right? That goes without saying. So it was very difficult from a personal standpoint. I didn't have to go through this to realize how much I enjoyed being at the field with the players. The school community at Bosco is really an extension of my family. I have 2 young boys, my daughter, my wife. They're always at the games. So it was very, very difficult. There's no question about it.
So what'd you do with yourself, Mike? How much beat, you throw BP to yourself? What'd you do to yourself? What'd you do with yourself?
Well, I'll tell you what I did, Darren. I now have box molding going up my staircase.
Gotcha.
I painted a couple of rooms in my home.
Yep.
Yeah,
I did every carpet in our room. I installed.
Yeah.
I did all that stuff.
Exactly. And then I stopped because I basically ran out of money. So now I'm trying to figure out how to pay for the next home project. But that's basically it. My dog is tired of walks. I grab the leash and he hides under the bed. So it hasn't been easy.
So you're a baseball coach, a baseball player, baseball. How hard is this summer been? It's like probably the first summer of your life without baseball, right?
I mean, it's bizarre. I mean, it's crazy. You can't go to like a batting cage you can't. It's just really weird. I mean, I know a lot of guys want to have catches and stuff in the beginning, and we couldn't because the fields were closed. I mean, it's really just crazy if you think about it. But now I'm happy baseball's back.
Indeed. Guys, baseball is back. The Last Dance tournament kicks off next week. And one of the very first games in the sub-regional, the Bosco regional, whatever we want to call it, the Bosco sub-regional will be between Cliffside Park and planned on the memory of Luther that day. It'll be real moving. That's a really nice gesture by the Bosco community. I know the Cliffside Park community and Coach Frank will be honored to be there. And then hopefully we'll play some good baseball. And then we'll play some more baseball and some more baseball. Just hope the weather stays good for a little while.
Right.
Guys, I want to thank you both for coming on the show today. And I wish you both luck in the Last Dance, and we will see you guys down the road.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Joe.
You got it. Thank
you. Greg, how are you doing today, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, Darren? What's going on?
Hey, not too much. I've been all right. So I know, hey, there's a live show, but we're both working on like the breaking news Ivy League story, what the Ivy League decided to do today, which was basically postpone fall sports, right? They basically postponed fall sports. They didn't really give a timeline when they're going to restart them or anything either. So we're both working on that. That's a big story. That's a big deal. I think, boy, it seems like that's the way we're almost trending right now.
Well, the Ivy League was the first league to halt its winter sports, and then obviously so many other leagues followed suit. And here they are again, the first league to announce that they are not going to have fall sports, and we'll see if there's any other conferences out there that follow suit.
And on the other side, though, meanwhile, in New Jersey, come Monday, high schools are starting what they call phase 1 of practice. And my colleague, Mr. Mattura, did an interesting piece on NorthJersey.com talking to some parents and coaches and players about, just the concerns about going back to play. We were just talking to 2 coaches, and they can't wait to start playing again. And I think deep down, everybody can't wait to start playing, right, Greg? But everybody's also got a kernel of concern in the back of their mind, right?
Absolutely. From the players to the coaches to the administrators and also to the parents. Let's not forget about them. The Football Parents Series is going to be several stories done over the summer. That's going to take a statewide look. We're utilizing reporters from other Gannett-owned newspapers in New Jersey to chronicle from the parents' perspective the process, starting with, as you said, the Monday, what I'm calling, or what they call the summer recess workouts. July 13th is the earliest you can start. Taking a look at that, and then over to the preseason workouts, preseason camp rather, and then leading into the season opener.
Right. You can see a graphic on screen now of the schools that we have confirmed are going to start on Monday. Some are starting all day, just start on Monday, and then just want to get their ducks in a row. But Greg, I think you and I have both learned. I mean, there's a lot of schools not starting. A lot of schools not starting Monday. A lot starting maybe June 27th or even August 3rd. I know the Patterson schools are starting August 3rd.
Correct, as you know, and as that list that just went up on the board, that's tentative. That could change at any time. But as you know, the contacts that we made yesterday and today, we were able to reach about half of the coaches in our area. And about 40%, I would say, are starting on July 13th. A couple on July 14th, Tuesday, and then there are a few that will start July 20th, and then a week later, July 27th, and then a week after that, August 3rd, and then a couple of schools are even starting on August 10th. They said, and then several schools also said it's to be determined when they will be opening up their summer recess workouts.
Right, and we expect the NJSAA to reveal what Phase 2 is going to look like on Friday, and maybe even give us a little bit of a look at what the fall season could look like. And there are all kinds of different scenarios and possibilities out there. It could be a handful of regular season games and then a big sweeping playoff structure, or it could just be some regular season games and they feel like, hey, we got some games in, good, everybody's healthy, go home. So, but I'm curious to know from your reporting and talking to parents, what kind of struck you as the biggest concern, what they wanted to talk about?
Well, I think that they almost every person that we reached out to, and again, I got help from Greg Mattura from Central Jersey Parents and Josh Friedman from South Jersey Parents. They want to proceed. Their kids have been stuck at home for the last 3 or 4 months. They weren't able to go to school, go to class, see their friends, have a normal environment. And so the parents want to proceed with these, summer workouts, get their sons back to football, try to get them back to a sense of normalcy. And then they're going to put their faith in the coaches, in the athletic directors, and the administrators that they're going to be able to follow the game plan set forth by the NJSIAA as far as the proper protocols and guidelines for having these non-contact in the beginning summer workouts.
What exactly will these workouts look like, Greg? Have you been able to get kind of a handle on? I mean, I've been telling people, I'm guessing there's going to be some sprints and some agility drills and everything, just kind of for the first couple of weeks. Is that what you're hearing?
That's what I'm hearing. I mean, it's non-contact. You can't be in a group of more than 10. So, there's going to be, maybe linemen in one area of the field stretching or running. There's going to be, running backs and receivers, skill position players in another area in groups of 10. And they're just going to spread them out. And, the first couple of days, everyone's just going to be looking and waving to each other, in my opinion, and just feeling like you're getting closer to being back to your normal routine. And everything is just going to go in a much slower pace than it would be where in previous years that you'd be coming in and working a lot harder than you would be this first July 13th coming Monday practice for about 15 or so schools that we know of so far from our area.
I know it's too early to tell, and I know you don't have the answer to this, but your years of experience dwarf my years of experience, Mr. Mattura. But in your gut instinct, do you think we'll see participation drop off? Think we'll see, some kids on the fence not go out for football, basketball, wrestling, baseball? You think we'll see that kind of impact?
Absolutely. The question is, what is the percentage? For instance, we're seeing, let's just pick something where they're measuring. And I think re-enrollment in college is down about 2 or 3% so far. So I think that re-enrollment in high school sports is probably maybe single digits. But if you're not going to be a starter or someone who plays regularly in your sport, maybe you're going to consider not playing right now, or maybe take a year off to do something else.
All right. So what's next on the Greg Mattura reporting scene? What's the next big story you're working on?
Well, again, the football parent series it's going to be several stories. The first one ran online today around the state. That was talking to parents, asking them their thoughts as their kids head in to that first summer workout. And then later on this month, we'll check back with parents to find out what the experience has been like over the first week or so. There'll be a lot of, nervous parents standing at the fences or standing near their cars and watching the workouts. And then what's the protocol going to be when your kid gets in the car? Are you going to basically, scrub him down? And then when he gets home, are you going to hose him down, throw him a bar of soap and hose him down in the front yard? And look at it that way. And then sometime in August, once they open camp, we'll take a closer look at through the parents' eyes again on as the kids move towards that season opener.
Right. Well, Greg, you told me this. Every good reporter always closes the interview by saying, anything else you want to talk about?
I think that pretty much covers it. Again, we had the Ivy League announcement today. We have the football parents series. And come Monday, I know you and I will be at multiple high school workouts. We don't know what distance. Hopefully we won't be standing out in the middle of the street with binoculars, but we'll have our masks on. I'll have a pair of gloves on as well, my video camera on, and we'll try to chronicle what that first day in that first week of workouts look like.
Very true. I have my mask ready too, though, Mr. Mattura. I'm used to it by now. I don't mind. Thank you so much for your time, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
My pleasure.
And that'll wrap things up here on the Varsity Aces live show. I want to thank our first guest, Coach Mike Rooney at Don Bosco and Coach Joe Frank from Cliffside Park. I want to give another shout out to my 10-year-old son who decided to burst onto the scene right as we were starting. Tomorrow really is his birthday. And I want to thank you very much for watching. Remember that the coaches coach, the players play, and the officials officiate, and let those Varsity Aces tell you what you need to know. Good night, everybody.